You scroll through your phone, and someone you went to school with just closed a deal. Someone you used to know is traveling the world, posting from places you've only seen in pictures. Someone younger than you just launched something, built something, became something, and you're still here. In the same situation, waiting for something to change. That quiet, heavy feeling that life is moving and you're somehow falling behind. Most of the time it is an illusion. What you're reacting to is not reality. It's a version of reality assembled by your mind from fragments. Someone's highlight reel. You are measuring your entire life, all its depth and complexity and unseen movement, against a surface image of someone else's, and that comparison is producing a feeling you're treating as fact. Your mind doesn't compare things in a calm, neutral way. It jumps straight to a conclusion, and that conclusion is always the same. You are behind. It feels true, because the emotion is strong. But the truth is, the whole thing is built on something distorted. It's heavily filtered. What you see of other people's lives is what they choose to show, or what the algorithm decides to push in front of you. But what you see of your own life is everything. Every doubt, every slow day, every moment where you're unsure. So look at what you're actually doing. You're comparing their edited highlights to your full, raw reality. That's not fair. It's not even accurate. The feeling of being behind assumes that there is a schedule, that somewhere there is a chart with your name on it, and that chart has milestones with ages attached. By this year, this. By that year, that. You missed one. Now you're behind. That schedule doesn't exist in reality. It exists in culture. It was written by people who didn't know you, for a version of life that was never yours to begin with. Your parents absorbed it. Schools reinforced it. Social media made it visual and constant, and now it lives inside you like a fact. But it's a belief system, and it's not a neutral one. The universe doesn't operate on a human calendar. It doesn't have a preferred order for things. Every life that has ever unfolded has done so on its own rhythm, through its own sequence, driven by forces that don't fit neatly into a timeline. The expectation that yours should follow a preset structure is not wisdom. It's conditioning. And that conditioning is generating a feeling that is actively distorting how you see your own life. There is something you need to understand about how you are interacting with your own reality. You are not a passive observer watching life happen. You are an active participant. Your attention, your focus, your dominant internal state, these things are not separate from your experience. They are shaping it. What your mind is trained to look for, it finds. When you're locked in a state of lack, of being behind, of not having what others have, your perception narrows around evidence that confirms it. You notice every marker of progress in other people's lives. You feel the weight of every area where you haven't moved, and you miss the movement happening in your own life because your attention isn't there. It's over there, on someone else. Neuroscience calls it the reticular activating system. The brain filters billions of pieces of information and surfaces what it has been told to surface. What you consistently focus on, what you emotionally reinforce, becomes the lens. The lens determines what you see. What you see determines how you feel. How you feel determines what you do. And what you do determines what continues to show up in your life. You are not just observing your circumstances. You are, through your awareness and your internal state, participating in how those circumstances continue to form. When the feeling of being behind becomes constant, something specific happens. It creates a state. A low, persistent background frequency of inadequacy, urgency, and lack. And that state starts to run on its own. You don't have to look at Instagram for it to be present. It's just there, underneath everything. It colors how you make decisions. It shapes how you interpret outcomes. It determines what you believe is possible for you. That state is not just unpleasant. It is self-reinforcing. The mind in a state of lack is looking for evidence of lack. It interprets neutral situations through that filter. A delay becomes confirmation that things aren't working. A setback becomes proof that you're falling further behind. An opportunity passes, and the internal voice says, "Of course," and the loop continues. This is not a failure of willpower or effort. It is a misalignment between your internal state and the natural movement of your life. You can work harder inside a misaligned state and produce more of the same result. The issue is not the output. It is the frequency from which the output is being generated. Here is what this all points to. The problem is not where you are in life. The problem is the lens through which you are interpreting where you are. Your actual position, what has happened, what you have, where things stand right now, is neutral data. It is the interpretation that turns it into a problem. And that interpretation is being generated by a belief system that was installed in you before you had the ability to evaluate it. A belief that there is a correct timeline, that other people's progress is a measure of your own, that the pace of your life is evidence of your worth. None of that is true. All of it is learned, and learned things can be seen for what they are. The moment you stop looking at your life through the lens of comparison and timeline, something changes, because the filter through which you are processing reality changed. And when the filter changes, what you see changes. What you see changes what you feel. What you feel changes what you do. And what you do changes what continues to form around you. The feeling of being behind is not a report on your life. It is a signal from your internal state. It is showing you the misalignment. And that is exactly where the work begins. Now that you can see it for what it is, the next question is practical. If misalignment is the real problem, what does alignment actually feel like? How does it start? What shifts when it does? The next video covers exactly that. It's called The 4 Awakenings That Can Completely Change Your Life in 24 Hours. Once you understand this, alignment begins. This is about the specific internal awakening that changes the lens, and what happens to your reality when it does. Click the video showing on your screen to watch it. Everything you've been feeling has a source, and the source is not your circumstances. It's the relationship between your internal state and the way you're interpreting those circumstances. That relationship is something you can actually work with. There's more on the next video, and it goes so much deeper. I'll see you there.